Hello friends, subscribe to the channel to receive the latest news. News about the unexpected blind masters. They never expected to see Patriots win in 2016. They didn't even see it coming, had no clue it was happening, and thought all was well. He stepped in, he did it, Hillary was supposed to be there. We believed we were on track for a 16-year plan, not a big deal. All we were going to do is throw everything at him, and eventually, he would fold, and that would be the end of it. They didn't realize the entire military was behind him. I'm not talking about the TV generals, I'm talking about the military. The military obeys their oath, the military decides you know something. But what would that look like when it's a complete and total catastrophe? What would the deep state do if they just sat there and said, "Oh, look, the military is coming. They'll fight back. They'll play dirty, they'll blow everything up and wreak havoc and kill." They know this, plus the optics aren't good at all. When you see the military coming and overthrowing the government, the people of this country, they still haven't awakened. They won't understand why this is happening. Most people believe the country is fine. We just need a little in there, so it's better than a little. They don't realize how deep and wide the swamp is. In fact, it's not even a swamp. They are criminals, and that's why Trump didn't go down that path. He needed to wake up America. That's what this is really about, and he wants the people to make the ultimate decision, and the only way to make that decision is logical thinking and understanding what's happening, and you need to see the criminal syndicate with your own eyes. That's the only way you can get through this. Yes, you'll be angry. You'll be angry. You'll be like, why are these people awake now? Why can't these people see it? Remember that people wake up at different stages, and that's why Trump needed to fight them. The 16-year plan with the 7-8-year plan, because he needed this time for people to see the truth, and when people start to realize it, and he sees the number of audits going up, and people start saying, okay, I see the election fraud. Okay, I see the criminal syndicate. I see the two-tier justice system. I see how they're trying to destroy the country by opening the borders. I understand why we need a wall. I see how they're trying to lead us into war. I see how their Green New Deal is destroying the economy. I see all of this now, but what do we do about it? How can we fix this? Well, most of the people they see it, most people understand it, but once you have the majority, once you have the people that you need, then you can proceed and really show them, because now they're accepting this information, you can show them that they really did this, how they did it. Now think about the other side. Trump, he knows he can't reach the letter D. He knows there's a firewall protecting them. What's the firewall? It's called CNN, it's called MSNBC and all the other networks and newspapers serving the letter D. They're blocking everything, so they don't understand what's happening. Yes, there are Republican members watching Fox, and they only believe that, and that's the firewall for the Republican Party. Trump, he needs to address this somehow. He needs a way to reach these people. He needs a way to show them, look at what they've done. But first, he needs to catch them in the act, doing what he needs to get all that information. He needs the reports, he needs the military to catch them. He needs other agencies to catch them, and he needs this to happen over and over again, because think about it, if he wanted to put out a report and it was done back in 2018, and that was the only time it was done, everyone would say, well, that looks like a glitch to me. I mean, they did that in 2020, they did that in 2022, and I believe this is what Trump did. He carried out every election, and he caught them in the act. And as we go through this period, 2018, 2020, 2022, a deep state is truly doing what they need to do to rig it like they've never rigged it before. Trump, he needs people out there voting as if they've never voted before, because he needs the deep state to rig it on a scale like never before, because once you catch him in this, the game is over for them. Now that's what Trump is doing. He's taking all that information, and now he's presenting it to all these people. Now all these people think he's being prosecuted. He's not being prosecuted. The trial is for the deep state. Why do you think they set it up this way? Why do you think the accusations for January 6th are against Trump? Why do you think the espionage charges are against Trump? Why do you think the election fraud charges are against Trump? Why do you think the Presidential Records Act charges are against Trump? Because this is what they've done and what they're doing. He wants to take everything that they've done and are doing. He wants him to do it with him because this way, the fake news, including those who hate Trump or don't believe, watches it, and then suddenly everything revolves around the trial that's really for the deep state. Everyone wants a trial, you'll get one right now. Is this the last trial? No, this is the beginning of the trials, this will start next year right now. Is it in the deep state? It will just sit there. No, you or they will fight back. They always fight back, but Trump knows this. He knows exactly what they will do. They know when this information starts to appear, they will push for chaos. They know when Trump wins in 2024, they will push for a war. This is what they will do. Plus, in this period, I believe they will release a censorship system like we've never seen before, and when that doesn't work the way they think it will work, they will shut down communication. They will just black it out because they won't be able to control it the way they think they will control it because they can't control certain platforms, and now people are thinking logically after you see the deep state code. You can't unsee it, and that's what people are realizing right now. Most of the time, they blame everything on Trump, even though they've been in power for 2 years now. Like, I remember when he was the first president, if you follow me. You know this, I was devastated, and he said things like fake news, and I was like a deer in headlights. But now, as they leave mainstream media, the freedom-loving Democrats are doing their best to take him down and silence him. I'm like, maybe he's not such a terrible, crazy person after all. Maybe he has information and knowledge about what they're doing, and that's why they're dedicating so much time, energy, and money to trying to take him down and silence him. So, the people across the country are starting to wake up. They're starting to realize what's happening, and this is why evidence has to be constantly brought out into the public domain, because people need to see what the crimes are, what they are, and when evidence keeps piling up, and they see the FBI not doing anything, they see the DOJ not doing anything, they see nothing really happening, people wake up because of this, and it's not just with Biden. It would have been Hillary Clinton next to Obama. It would have been with Soros. In fact, Soros is also on board. We would have achieved that only in a second, and people would start to realize who's behind all of this, and people will start to say, who's behind all of this? Who's pulling the strings? It's like they're waking up. They're starting to think logically, and they're going, all right, I'm getting it now. I understand what's happening here. And when people look at Twitter, what used to be Twitter, I'm talking about when people look at fake news, when people look at Facebook, when people look at YouTube, when people look at Google, they'll start to realize the waiting is over. They control all these different platforms. They've used propaganda on us, and this is utterly unbelievable. We're really in a police state. They're watching. They've used propaganda. It looks like Danzig, Germany. That's where we're heading. Now, what's really interesting about Hunter Biden and the laptop story is a former CIA operative, who signed the infamous letter smearing the New York Post's Hunter Biden laptop story as Russian disinformation, then tried to downplay her role at Twitter. What we found out is that this individual is CIA. She works for Twitter, and this individual continued to close down the entire story, and this comes from Lindsay from Texas. She found an email from Neda Bako, a former CIA counterterrorism staffer, telling her superiors that she had locked her LinkedIn and Twitter accounts after the New York Post published a photograph of her and other former intelligence officials. Officials signed onto the letter to deceive the public that hundreds of Hunter Biden laptops were disseminating false information. So, right there, everything is connected, and we see that more and more information will be brought out. It appears they will start prosecuting. Investigating doesn't mean they will prosecute, it means they will bring out charges. They will find out a lot more information, and I believe there will be a lot of evidence connecting Biden to Hillary Clinton. This will connect to Obama, and we can see this has already begun. So, you can't miss it if he brings in 10,000 people to your council. Alright, there's no big deal if he brings in millions and millions of people. People will go, whoa, wait a minute. What's happening here if those people are then sent to Chicago, sent to New York, sent to LA, sent to all these different places? People will start to realize that the border needs to be closed, and we need a wall. This is what I want to say by amplifying everything you're seeing right now. Amplify to the extent that the citizens of this country will not be able to overlook it. They may try to pretend they don't see it, but eventually, they will see it, and everyone will say enough is enough, and that's exactly what's happening. The people are getting angrier, and the polling numbers are changing quite a bit. Where people are saying we need a real wall, we need to build it right now. Rasmussen's reports have been making this clear, and they say with a 2-to-1 ratio, voters believe that controlling the US border is more important than helping Ukraine against Russia. Absolutely, and that's what everyone is saying, and who's responsible for locking the border, and securing the border, and building a wall? Well, that would be the head of DHS, Mayorkas. But is he actually doing that job? Not when they see him testifying. People see what's going on, they see someone lying, they see someone not telling the truth, because why would they be able to see everyone? Coming across the border, they can see the politicians in New York having problems. They can see the people in Massachusetts having problems because of all the illegal immigrants there. They see the people in Chicago having problems because of all the illegal immigrants here, and he's telling everyone that the border is closed. They're not buying it, and people see it. They see the liars. Now, another interesting thing about this is that it seems like the impeachment effort is losing steam with Mayorkas. DC Drano brought this up and said that Congress's summer vacation is nearly over with political reports. The GOP doesn't have the votes to impeach DHS. Secretary Mayorkas, our country is being invaded, and the Republican Party won't fight to protect our border, forcing Mayorkas to take responsibility for the digging. Now, think about this, anyone that Biden appoints, and anyone who is brought in, are these individuals really in these positions? Well, if they cheated in the election and they overturned the legitimate government, how can they be in these positions? So how can we impeach them? We really can't, and I believe Trump. He wants these individuals right where they are to show that the rhinos won't do anything. And he wants these individuals to lie in front of the people, and he wants people to see them lying because this is what's waking people up, because when you see someone stealing a car, and they tell you that your car wasn't stolen, but you go, but I saw them steal my car, and they tell you, no, they didn't really steal it, you know, they're lying just like with the border. Oh, the border's closed. But why are millions of people coming? Why are New York complaining? Why is Massachusetts complaining? Why are they running out of money? Look at the people they see are lying. Now, another very interesting thing is that we know the sound of freedom is coming, and I'm still waiting for Hollywood. Is there any actor or actress or producer or anyone speaking out? No, not yet, right? Wow, it's been a while, and no one's doing a video or a speech. None of them are coming together. Isn't that amazing? I think that tells you everything you need to know, plus you can see what Biden has done and is doing, and this tells you everything you need to know about the Department of Justice's program. Digital crimes against children have been cut down significantly from the Trump administration. So, the Specialized Internet Crime Fighting Task Force for Children is a national network of 61 coordinated task forces composed of more than 5,400 federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. Specialized investigators, prosecutors, and other professionals work together to respond to online child exploitation. So basically, what they've done is they've only cut about $3.5 million in funding, and this is despite an increase in child exploitation and sex trafficking found on social media sites. So, I think that tells you everything you need to know. This means that the Biden administration is okay with child trafficking, child exploitation, and everything else, and I think we all know this by now. And here's the reason why they haven't come out and actually said, oh no, we need to stop this, not just once they've done it, the island, Epstein's black book comes out, and it's the same people, they're involved in this for a long, long time. So, we know these individuals are not just individuals from Mexico, but many other political individuals, many other individuals from Hollywood and other places. They have a relationship with Epstein. They flew to the island. He supported and blackmailed these people. He supported their campaigns and sent threatening letters and bribed these individuals because he had them on video, and we can see that these individuals, they don't want this information to come out. But I believe what's going to happen is at the right time and at the right time, we're going to have this information come out, and I believe all of this is the right time. Remember, how do you end this with all the crimes in this country? Well, people will see treason. They'll be responsible for overturning the election. These people have done this. You can imagine once the people find out about this, once they find out about the uprising, they find out about election fraud, they find out about this, and suddenly, Epstein's black book comes out, and it's the same person. I really think about this for a second. I think with that, it brings the country together, and wait a minute, these people are involved in child trafficking and human trafficking and everything else, and I think we all know this by now. And this is why they haven't gone out and actually said, oh no, we need to stop this, not just once they've done it, the island, Epstein's black book comes out, and it's the same people. They're involved in this for a long, long time. This was reported on X. Former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, accused of being part of a bribery scheme tied to Jeffrey Epstein's related play, has died at the age of 75. Richardson faced scrutiny for receiving $50,000 campaign contributions from Epstein during his gubernatorial campaigns in 2002 and 2006. However, the connection between Richardson and Epstein went beyond the financial contributions, so they had a long-term relationship. So, we know that these individuals are not just individuals from Mexico, but many other political individuals, many other individuals from Hollywood and other places. They have a relationship with Epstein. They flew to the island. He supported and blackmailed these people. He supported their campaigns and sent threatening letters and bribed these individuals because he had them on video, and we can see that these individuals, they don't want this information to come out. But I believe what's going to happen is at the right time and at the right time, we're going to have this information come out, and I believe all of this is the right time. Remember, how do you end this with all the crimes in this country? Well, people will see treason. They'll be responsible for overturning the election. These people have done this. You can imagine once on other platforms where they are trying to control bots, controlling AI makes it difficult for them to access the platform. This will be challenging, but they will continue to try, and they are pushing it right now through the U.S. Special Operations Command. They will deploy Argus, an AI program to monitor social media to find misinformation. And all of this falls under national security. This means that the government is now looking into this. Can they censor citizens? Can the government do this, and isn't that unconstitutional? You really can't, but we know that the Biden administration and the Obama administration have partnered with social media companies, and they violated our constitutional rights, and they have censored people. But once again, the Department of Defense, they just can't use this and say, let's turn it on, start censoring people, because it will be very, very noticeable. So, what they usually do is they create these kinds of systems like they did with Facebook, and then they essentially handed it over to Zuckerberg. That it went public, but it was built to control what people are doing, what people are saying, the same thing with Twitter. They controlled it. They could censor people. Now they are coming out with this thing called Argus, which is currently an AI program. They just can't continue and release it to the public, so what they will do is they are creating it. Then they will have private companies buy it or use it or make it available. And then private companies can actually use it to shut down misinformation. And I believe this is exactly what they will try to do. They will try to use this to shut down and censor people, and they will say it's not the Department of Defense. This is a private program. Now, we've sold it, and we can do whatever they did. Now they are using it, and this is how they will try to control the flow of information. But I believe this will fail. I think they will need to control the platforms. They can have this program send messages to the owners of the platforms to say, hey, listen. This is misinformation. This is misinformation now. They can say, oh, we don't care about that. You don't tell us what to do. And I believe that once that starts happening, their entire plan will fall apart. Because that's why they want to push us into war, and we can see that war is happening right now. Russia has deployed their Satan intercontinental ballistic missiles, and they are on combat duty right now. This is very interesting. And then we have Tucker Carlson. He let everyone know that the power elites are going to launch a hot war between the US and Russia in the next year to assume wartime powers to maintain control, and he is absolutely correct. We already knew this from Trump. We knew that they would push us into World War III. Why? Because they need a distraction. This is part of their 16-year plan from the beginning, and because that's part of their plan, whatever Trump did, he reversed the situation on them. Now he's in control, and all they want to do now is go against him. The economy is failing under their control, we will be at war under their control, open borders under their control. Everything is happening with them. It's being magnified that everyone can see it, and everyone knows who's responsible for all of this. Don't answer Tucker and say, "This is one of the main reasons the deep state wants my father in jail." They know if he's president, he will immediately put an end to the plan to start World War III with Russia over Ukraine, and that's absolutely true. But what will happen is we will reach a point where that terrifying event will happen, and President Trump, he will talk. He will bring us out of this war. Why? Because everything has been planned. Because he needs to wake up others. He needs everyone to see all of this. He needs everyone to see who the real enemy is, that these are the people you voted for, these are the people you're still attached to, they want to destroy you through war. Are you going along with that? Do you care if your brother, your sister, your mother, father, uncle, and aunt go to war? Would you go to war yourself? Do you care if nuclear weapons are entering this country and destroying cities? And if you really think about the 16-year plan, think about what they're really trying to do. Connect it to the Great Reset and the Green New Deal if we have a nuclear war. We know it will be controlled, but they will destroy cities. Why are they destroying cities? Because they want to build their own 15-minute cities. They will destroy all different locations across the country and other places worldwide, and what will the central banks do? What will the World Economic Forum do to rebuild the world the way they want it? That's really the Great Reset and the Green New Deal, because everything will be in ruins. Everything will be destroyed, and everything will need to be rebuilt, and they will be able to reshape the entire country and the world. Remember that the population will decrease, so they can take a smaller population right now and say it's okay because of radiation. We won't build there right now. We will build in this location. This will be your new home, your new city, and everything will be 15 minutes. You will never have to leave this area, and they have been planning this for a long time. They never planned for Trump to come, they never planned for the military to support Trump. They didn't expect this anymore, because why did they have an uprising on November 3rd? They completed it on January 6th, and the military commander. They had control of the whole situation. It started in 2016. President Trump completely took control in 2020. He is showing the world what the deep state wants to do. He is showing or getting ready to show all their crimes. And we can see that they will continue to push to where they will continue to push. Riots and chaos because they have to, or else they will be twisted, and they know this. That's why the EU is out there, and they will label anyone calling for peace as Kremlin propaganda. So, wait a minute. So, anyone who says we don't want war, we want peace, he's a Kremlin propagandist. So when Trump comes and says, listen, I may have peace, I see war building up, we are getting closer to the election. Biden will call him a Kremlin propagandist, saying he works for Russia because he wants peace. Do you think the people of this country will see that it's clearly fake news, and the rest? They are trying to push a war again. I think so, and I think it won't work like the pandemic won't work. They are trying to push this again. I think people are now tougher since the last pandemic, and now they have done their research. They are starting to understand. I'm not saying 100% of the people, but the majority of people. They won't go along with this plan, but you can see the deep state players are still deep. They will try to shut down all information, and it's very interesting when we go back to 2019-2020. The documents now show that there is an intelligence community in the UK, and they have been involved with the CDU since it was found in 2019, and they have been working to prevent it. You know, let those businesses grow, let other businesses fail, and you will see how quickly they change now. Another interesting thing is that we can see that Trump, he is letting everyone know, and he's putting it out on social media, that he will be the president who swears to become the champion for a homeschool. Families in the second term should Trump, he's letting everyone know. He's all for this. Remember what he wants for the country. He wants our children to learn. He wants parents to teach their children, and if we want a school system, the school system has to do what parents want. This is what the founding fathers really set up because they knew if it was done with small communities and involved parents. Parents want the best for their children, and if parents want the best for their children, children get the best education. And what the school systems have tried to do is they've tried to control. Why? Because they get federal funding, it needs to end, and if you can, I guess another choice is if you don't want millions of native doctors right now is homeschooling. But I think as time goes on, we will go back to a model where parents don't have complete control. But you can see the deep state players are still deep. They will continue to push their agenda to create chaos, and no matter what happens, they want the criminals to always be on the streets in Chicago. Mayor Chicago Brandon Johnson. He blames car manufacturers Kia and Hyundai for car thefts in the city. What I mean is just think about the thought process in this. Instead of arresting the criminals, instead of saying okay, these are very strict laws, if you steal a car, you're going to be put away for 5 years. Maybe what they need to do is reverse those laws and actually arrest the criminals and not release them afterward. But they want them released because later they will use them, so what do they have to do? They have to blame others. Oh, stores are being looted because you shouldn't display things in your store window when it's being looted because your door is open. Oh, I mean this is hilarious. Your car is being stolen because they're not secure enough to prevent someone from stealing it. It's like reverse thinking, but you can see why they're doing it. It's like when they blame guns are the cause of these mass shootings. No, there are no guns involved. The cause is the person. If someone drives a car into a school and kills 20 children, when they say the car isn't responsible, they will say the driver of the car is responsible for this. So right now, you can see why they're doing all of this. They are blaming inanimate objects, and they say that's the cause when it's really their policies. No cash bail, anything under 50 years old is a misdemeanor. We won't prosecute anyone. That's the issue going to the source, and I think people see this. I think people are starting to realize, that these people are insane. And this is what happens when everything is amplified, and just look at January 6th. You can see in June, people started to realize that it wasn't the Trump supporters who caused the uprising. It was the Capitol Police, it was the FBI, it was Antifa, it was BLM, and people started to realize that they are the ones who really caused the uprising. I believe Trump with all these trials will continue. He will prove to everyone that yes, they are the ones who really caused the uprising. It could be fantastic. Put the case on X. The DOJ just issued a protest on January 6 or a 10-year sentence for breaking the windows of the Capitol building. Suspiciously, a man wearing an earpiece was also caught on video breaking into the Capitol building but has never been added to the FBI's most wanted list. Arrested or charged right away because he's an undercover asset, possibly an FBI agent, and they won't put those people in jail, and I think people see this very clearly. Just like everyone is seeing what's happening with all these trials, remember all the different trials going on with Trump. It really is not against him, it's really with the deep state, and Trump, he will prove everything they did. Trump has stated this correctly on social media in New York State. Total Leticia James, the DA's case, I am being targeted, no grand jury, no immunity, no Commerce Clause, no right of impeachment. Nothing. The Democrats judge hate Trump with a passion. What I have is a great case based on extraordinary numbers showing net worth billions more than she claimed maliciously and falsely. Very little debt, wonderful, fantastic real estate. I was derided by the New York State election interference, and what did people sing? They see election interference, and they are also seeing that DA Fani Willis, she continuously violates the law. Remember when Trump and the Patriots set this up? They want to show how criminals like that really push their case. They're doing that without following the rules of the law. They're doing that, and they're doing it as a criminal, and that's what you're seeing right now. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis has transitioned from prosecuting criminal cases to pursuing charges related to her own court records. Georgia law stipulates the intentional submission of court documents when one knows or has reason to believe that the document is false or contains a fraudulent statement or misrepresentation. This is under Georgia Code the 20th of October 16, Section 1, B1. DA Willis is well aware of this law. She has accused several individuals, including Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and John Eastman, of violating the law by submitting a document containing a serious false statement in federal court. She has invoked this law this week as the basis for pursuing charges. Georgia law allows for expedited proceedings under the 6th Chancery Act, which provides for expedited and public hearings for defendants. Kenneth John and the City of Powell have made requests under Georgia law. D.A. Willis responded to these requests for expedited proceedings with a completely erroneous motion to advise the court and the defendants of the consequences of expediting the trial. This motion is in violation of Georgia Code the 20th of October 16, Section 1, B. 1. It is clear and evident that D.A. Willis and her team have devised legal theories and misled the court about related case law to justify their actions. So, right there, she has indeed violated the law in pushing these cases forward. Can everyone see this? Absolutely. Now, another interesting development is the report by Halderman, revealing that Georgia's Dominion voting machines could be hacked, votes could be altered, and the election could be tampered with, and Secretary of State Raffensperger hid this report and now refuses to install security patches for the 2024 election. So, right now, Raffensperger knows about this. He concealed the report, and he won't install error patches on the machines. That means the machines cannot be used in the 2024 election, and I don't believe these machines will be used in the 2024 election. And Raffensperger's recent statements actually support Trump's defense in the Georgia case. Raffensperger appears to contradict Trump's claims that he violated his oath of office by manufacturing enough votes to win the state. Since Raffensperger and others started saying that Trump pressured them to violate their oaths, Trump and those who heard the call have been arguing that this doesn't seem to be true at this time. Raffensperger himself has opened the door to questioning his own statement and may have provided ammunition for Trump's defense team in the upcoming lawsuit. As brought up by Fannie Willis, and just as Trump said, this is a perfect call right now because Trump will have this trial, and many trials throughout the 2024 election. I believe that because these will be broadcasted online and information will be disseminated that a deep state, through the U.S. government, has rigged things, people will become aware of this. They may start losing faith, and they may start rioting in the spring of 2024. And I believe that perhaps a civil war may be used afterward when Trump is elected, and I believe the riots will continue because they will contest the results of the 2024 election. So, the riots may begin to distract people from what's happening here and may continue into the 2024 election. But we'll have to see how this unfolds. This will be very interesting. But Soros, you can see that they are escalating the violence because they have revealed plans to unleash hell on Trump in 2024. So, George Soros's son, Alexander, the heir to the Soros empire, has really been paid for by the American people because they have taken money from all this information, and they are using this money to fight against us. A playbook has been laid out for his father's massive nonprofit network to unleash hell on Trump for the 2024 election in a recent article on Politico. The Soros son reveals how the Open Society Institute, one of the world's most influential progressive organizations, will work to oppose a former president in the upcoming election. So, he has started everything, and this means, they will put out ads. They will say, don't vote for Trump. No, they will create chaos. They will create riots. They are shifting everything onto Trump now, onto Trump supporters. Do you see this script? Absolutely. Let's go back to some posts here. Posted on October 29, 2017. In this post, it says, don't fool yourself that Clinton, Obama, Soros, Rothschild, etc. have more power than POTUS. The Mockingbird Patriots campaign is in control. Sit back and enjoy the show. This is from October 31, 2017. I'll read a few lines from the middle to the end. It asks what would happen if Soros-funded activities turned violent and engaged in domestic terrorism. Well, they could be classified as a domestic terrorist group. He could be declared an enemy of the state. American soil actors could be charged with crimes up to sedition and terrorism. Martial law could be declared. 10 U.S.C. Part 3, Section 331 to 335. The president can use armed forces to suppress an insurrection. They could have the National Guard. Who's the commander-in-chief? Trump is. What happens if a mayor's police officers don't enforce the law? Well, the commander-in-chief can request the consent of the National Guard under the Insurrection Act. POTUS has specific jurisdiction over the National Guard. Why is this important? Because the duty of the National Guard is to protect the president and U.S. dignitaries abroad, and technically, they don't directly protect the president. That depends on the details of the Secret Service. However, the National Guard's sole responsibility is to transport the president by helicopter to Air Force One or Camp David or wherever he may need to go within the reach of Marine One. Now, that's interesting because I remember a post that said the president would be on Air Force One when the actions take place. So, think about this: when Trump is elected in 2024, and the riots occur, he's president-elect. Well, he hasn't taken the oath of office, but he's also commander-in-chief. This is fascinating because think about it, if he has a trial and he shows that Biden, Obama, Hillary Clinton, and the rest of us and many others through the US government have rigged the election and he actually has evidence of this, who is the actual president then? I mean, use the example of Trump. When a robber steals diamonds from a jewelry store and the thief is caught, do they get to keep the diamonds or do they have to return them? They have to return them, right? So, what happens in this case? This will be very interesting. Posted on November 25, 2018. It says, what power does the Constitution grant a sitting president? Could this be a national security issue? Thank you, Mr. Soros. Then we have post 15 from October 31, 2017. It says that Soros is completely targeted, but you can see they're building up for chaos. We have a group of bloodline New World Order Nazis or the United Defense Front. Whatever they call themselves or the People's Front, it seems like they're just changing their names. They wear Nazi uniforms, Nazi flags, and they praise Hitler. You seem to be looking for a rewrite of the provided text in clear and fluent English while retaining the original content. However, it appears that the original text is a mix of various statements and ideas without a clear structure or coherent narrative. To improve readability, I'll reorganize and rephrase the text while maintaining its core message. You are aware of the supreme rights of white individuals, and it seems like those who support Trump are trying to emphasize this. However, we recognize these people for who they are waving a false flag. This is what they are attempting to promote, and it seems like everything the deep state is trying to do with all the chaos and turmoil won't succeed because their playbook is known. They are attempting to remove Trump from the ballots in many states, but it won't work right now. Trump cannot be banned from participating in the 2024 election in Arizona. This has been ruled, and the Secretary of State has admitted that it cannot be done. He's frustrated about it, but it can't be executed as a judge appointed by Barack Obama quickly dismissed a lawsuit from a group arguing that Trump couldn't appear on the ballot due to events on January 6, 2021. The judge ruled that the plaintiffs, including lawyer Lawrence Kaplan of Boynton Beach and two others, lacked standing to challenge. Hence, they lacked standing to challenge the qualified candidates for seeking the presidency. In the ruling, the judge also cited precedent where plaintiffs couldn't keep candidates off the ballot due to their involvement in the events of January 6. So, right now, they are stuck. Trump will run, of course. He will win in 2024 because he will have a fair, free, and transparent election. We won't use their fraudulent system. We will use paper ballots. Think about what's happening right now. We will have upcoming trials. Deep state operatives will be tried for their attempts to overturn the Presidential Records Act. For espionage activities, the truth will be exposed. Media blackout, power outage, chaos, distraction. Trump, we have an election. There was a cyber attack, and they say, oh no, we can't have an election because the equipment is not working, infrastructure is damaged. Don't worry. We have backups. Playbook, we have paper ballots, everything is prepared and ready to go. Marines, National Guard, they will protect the election. They will ensure complete transparency. Trump wins the election suddenly, accelerating. Trump is the president-elect, but once again, he's shown evidence that these individuals manipulated through the US government, and the legitimate president-elect, whether they really are a president, or now Trump is the legitimate president and the president-elect at the same time, commander-in-chief. That means they will lead us to war. This is what they are trying to do, but Trump knows the tactics. He wants them to do this. He's actually leading them down this path. He's told us this, and now Trump. He has a real candidate. The Wall Street Journal has put this out and said Trump is the top choice for nearly 60% of GOP voters, and all the others are just wasting their time. They should just close shop and say, all right, Trump is the candidate. There's no reason to argue anymore. It's over. There's no reason for these people even to talk to each other with 1%, 2%, 8%, 10%. It's meaningless when people have made their choice. Now, another interesting thing is that we can see people looking into election fraud. It seems like the continuous increase in numbers. The latest reports state that this is reaching a new high, and the painful election of 2020, our results are being established today. What's the possibility? And here's the question. How did that election fraud affect the outcome of the 2020 presidential election? Dems say 45% say it's possible, not possible 50%, wow. And independent 64% say it's possible, 28% say it's not possible. Republicans 80% say it's possible now, not possible 16% overall 62% possible, 32% not possible. Everything is starting to change. It seems like this is the perfect time for Trump to really take the deep state to court for how they rigged the election. Trump, you've brought this up on the truth and cited some fantastic poll numbers because people want to go back to the Trump years when everything worked. Borders were the strongest ever, no inflation, jobs, 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 energy independence, and soon dominance, low taxes and regulations, a strong military. No more ISIS Islamic State's great economy from before to now. It's an exciting time for America. Trump needs to show people exactly what the deep state is, how they would destroy the country, how they would lead us to war. He needs to wake the people up, and I believe now, because people are waking up, they're accepting the information. Now he can take them to court, and people can see exactly what they've done, and they will accept this. That means the deep state will try to shut everything down because the truth is being exposed. And this is exactly what Trump wants them to do because it helps Trump, the patriots, to truly clean everything up. It makes it easier for Trump, the lovers of the country, to show the real enemy because people won't wake up with these trials. They'll wake up with war. They'll wake up with riots. And I believe Trump has prepared and is ready for people to see this. But he's controlling the entire situation. The patriots are controlling it. Listen, thank you very much for listening. Stay safe, and most importantly, be prepared. Thank you very much.